This is. We are live. This is Canada Hoops Daily presents the Wrap It Up podcast, a live and interactive Toronto Raptors post-game show. You are tuned in. We thank you for tuning in on a big night for the Toronto Raptors. And if we did this a half hour ago, the vibes would have been a little different on the Wrap It Up pod. But thanks to Spicy P in a massive third quarter and a massive bucket laid, your Raptors come back from 23 points down to defeat the Washington Wizards 111-107. Again, a massive win. 23-point comeback by the Toronto Raptors. Fourth biggest comeback in franchise history. What a time indeed, Raptors fans. Thank you for tuning into this, the Wrap It Up podcast, presented by Canada Hoops Daily. Huge shout to Canada Hoops Daily. We've had some interesting starts to this season in terms of being back and doing the pod. Just some very interesting nights. Multiple 20-plus point comebacks. This is why we're back, kids, to do this, to discuss your Toronto Raptors. I mean, what an insane game. The way that one started, the way that it began, the vibes were so low. The vibes were low for the team. The vibes were low in the building. The vibes were low for the fans watching at home. And then all of a sudden, Spicy P said, nah, we ain't letting Kuzma come in here and Jordan Poole come in here, deal with the Raptors after probably dealing with King Street on Sunday night as well. Nah. We're not having that. Massive win. The Wizards are not a good team, by the way. But that's a story for another day. Because this is about the Toronto Raptors and the Toronto Raptors happy vibes. Again, thank you for tuning into this. Canada Hoops Daily presents the Wrap It Up podcast, the live and interactive Toronto Raptors post-game show, coming to you after each and every Toronto Raptors game. And if you're ever looking for the pod live, join us. We say we're live and interactive because we are. We take your comments and questions. And the two places that you can watch this show live, you can watch it on Twitter at Can Hoops Daily or on YouTube at Canada Hoops Daily. Like and subscribe there. That way, once a show pops up, you're here. You can send in your comments and questions. I will read them. I'll answer them. We will discuss any and all, especially on a big time night like this before. And if you ever miss the show live, first off, shame on you, but that's okay. We got you covered as a podcast runs on Apple and on Spotify. Just search Canada Hoops Daily. And of course, the aforementioned Canada Hoops Daily YouTube page. What a night for the Toronto Raptors after what could have been just an embarrassing night, I'll say, just outright. If you lose to the Washington Wizards, like you can't, I mean, the Wizards showed you why they are such an unserious team and Jordan Poole is such an unserious player. But if you lose that game, if you're the Toronto Raptors, with the Washington Wizards playing on the second night of a back-to-back, and not only just lose, but get blown out as the Raptors were down 71-48 in this game. I'm going to repeat that. The Raptors were down 71-48 in this game. What an insane turn of events. And the vibes would be a whole lot different. And on the one hand, I'm thinking, you know what? The Wizards are a really bad team. The Raptors got really lucky. They're playing with their food. And they almost messed up this game. You come back and you win against a really bad team. And on the one hand, you're thinking, how much credit do you get for beating the Washington Wizards like that? But on the other hand, what I preach mostly on this pod is a perspective of where you are as a franchise and what your realistic goals are as the Toronto Raptors, and the reality that every win does matter. And I think more so, the vibes are going to matter so much more this season. And so you come back, you get the win, and you completely flip the narrative, flip the vibes of what it would have been like tomorrow, as in Tuesday, as you prepare for Giannis and then Jason Tatum and the Celtics later on this week. So the vibes, the comeback was so huge for that reason, because you have a very young team that you can tell plays on emotions. And it was their vet, Pascal Siakam, the vet, the guy who a week ago people were talking about, is it his team? Is it Scotty Barnes' team? Whose team is it? All that fun stuff. Well, I feel like Pascal Siakam is trying to remind everybody he's still here. It's still his squad, and stuff goes through him. Because if it's not for Pascal Siakam, the Raptors get blown out by Kyle Kuzma. I'll say that again. I left the pause there on purpose. Because think of that for a second. If you were getting blown out by Kyle Kuzma and the Washington Wizards, I mean, that's just unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. Wizards are 2-8 on this season, and they're 2-8 for a reason. You're looking up their starting lineup, and you got Kuzma, Avdia, Gafford, Jones, and Jordan Poole. I left the awkward pause there for Jordan Poole on purpose. Not a murderer's row of a roster there, but if you're the Toronto Raptors, you're coming into this game. OG Anunoby is out because he has a lacerated finger from doing household chores yesterday. I wish I was making that up. But if I was making that up, no one would believe it. That doesn't even sound like a true statement. That doesn't even sound like a good joke that someone would try to make. But OG Anunoby, contract year, guy who's dealt with injury problems his whole career, misses this game because he cut his finger doing household chores. Just going to leave that there and move on and talk about the positives of the night. One other negative, though, Gary Trent Jr. also didn't play as he was injured. The first half of this game was just Kyle Kuzma getting busy. Kyle Kuzma started this game, I want to say it was like 10 for 11 from the floor. He wasn't missing, and he was hitting shots. He was getting out on the fast break. The Wiz were showing you why they were one of the top teams in the NBA in terms of getting out on the break and getting out in transition. And they were just beating the Raptors in every single aspect of basketball. Hustle plays, fast break points, three-point shooting. The Wizards shot like 60+% in the first half. Raptors were playing minimal to no defense early on in this game. And then the third quarter rolls around, and it still didn't start out well. It didn't. But then Siakam decided, okay, well, if no one else is going to go, I'm ready to get busy in this game. And before we get to Siakam, I want to give another shout out, though, to a couple of the other guys, because I thought Chris Boucher, I thought Precious, Malachi, I thought these guys gave, even Grady for sure. I thought the Raptors bench gave good, solid minutes in the first half. They really did. They cut the lead, the near 20-point lead. They cut that to almost 10. And then when Scotty came back in to lead the bench unit, the lead fell back apart in the first half. And in the second half, almost the same thing happened as Siakam got it started, and then the bench guys came in with Siakam, and they continued to cook. Siakam played the entire third quarter. Reason being, Raptors were down 23. They cut it to 10 heading into the fourth quarter. Signs of life. Siakam had 22 points in that third quarter, shot 8 of 11 from the field in that third quarter. And it was just insane because even though the lead was 10, which is still like a solid lead, not like crazy, but still a solid lead, you felt the momentum changing. You felt the life start to pick up in the building. And then from that point, you saw the Raptors defense, the things that they're known for doing. The defense, turning over the Wizards who were willingly going to give it up. And the Raptors defense, they just took over. And on the other end, Siakam was getting busy, taking it to the cup consistently. What do we talk about? I feel like I repeat myself sometimes too much on this pod. But the principles are the same. Pascal Siakam, everything downhill. When he's going downhill to the cup with a purpose, it's just winning basketball for him. 39 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Again, 22 points in that third quarter. That completely flipped the game. No one else on the Raptors was ready to play, like in terms of their stars, and I'm talking about Scotty Barnes. But the reality is the energy that was picked up after Pascal. You got to give that to Chris Boucher, Precious Achua, Malachi Flynn, even Grady. Solid bench play from the Raptors bench. The supporting cast was great. And why? Because they brought energy in a game that was lifeless from the Raptors' point of view to start this game. They had no life. They struggled so much in the first half just with energy. The way that Washington was just running like layup drills in the first half. And then the Raptors decided, oh, okay, we'll start playing some defense. Chris Boucher, it was funny. We were talking about it earlier in the office about Chris Boucher. And to me, Chris Boucher, I have no idea why year in, year out, since the championship year, right? Where the Raptors aren't like the juggernaut championship team or even like the 50-win team that they were prior to Kawhi, right? But they're still a solid team, still a pretty good team. But my point is, I don't know why there's been so many years where Chris Boucher gets 0 minutes and then they slowly start to give him more minutes. And then you're like, whoa, Chris Boucher's everywhere. How come he doesn't play consistently off the bench? Now, I'm not talking about Chris Boucher being a starter. I'm not talking about Chris Boucher being your sixth man. I'm just saying Chris Boucher getting DNPs doesn't make sense to me. Chris Boucher getting less minutes than Precious doesn't make sense to me. Now, Precious played good in this game, but I'm just saying night in, night out, Chris Boucher just brings you energy, and it's exactly what you need from your bench. My guy's blocking shots. He's getting rebounds. In 21 minutes, my guy was a plus 14, had 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks. Like, my guy's everywhere. And he does it night in, night out, consistently bringing energy. The stats might not be there, but there's at least 3 or 4 times that out of nowhere, you'll see Chris Boucher jumping over 3 guys to get a rebound. Or at least 3 or 4 times you're seeing someone have to pick Chris Boucher off the ground because he got knocked over trying to block a shot or trying to grab a rebound or something like that. And in a game like this, where you come out lifeless, Chris Boucher is a perfect remedy for that. And when Pascal Siakam starts getting it going and he's looking around for, okay, who's running with me? Who's with me here? Chris Boucher is a perfect bench guy to have out there. He hit a big shot down the stretch too. He was grabbing big rebounds, big block shots on the comeback trail. And I just thought when you get that production from your bench, sometimes you need that. You pick up the slack when you're down OG, you're down Gary Trent Jr. Scotty Barnes took a while to get it going, finished with 19-9. RIP to the people like me who had Scotty Barnes double-double in this game as he finished with 19-9. Shame. But took a while to get it going, finished 8 of 17. Not bad, right? Stats look okay. It's funny, before I left the office, I said, Scotty Barnes was struggling in the first half, but at the end of the game, his stat line's going to look normal because that's what he always does. And here we are, 19-9, 4 rebounds. 4 assists, 5 steals for Scotty, doing a little bit of everything, right? And at the end of the day, you look up and you say Pascal Siakam is showing you why he wants his max money. He's looking around at this team, and while everyone's talking about Scotty Barnes is the man, why does anyone have to be the man? People can have different roles. Because the thing that I was most impressed by in terms of Pascal Siakam's performance was, first off, the Raptors were just looking for something, anything, and no one had it going. And then he just got focused and said, you know what? I'm just driving to the cup consistently over and over and over again until you stop me, and they couldn't stop him. So that's how he ended up with 22 points in the third quarter and 39 points overall. But on top of that, the other super important thing when we're talking about, your top players, the difference between stars and superstars, the difference between, just a regular all-star and all NBA people, is what do you do in winning time? And with the game on the line, the Raptors are looking around, and I think this is still the biggest issue that we're going to see as they sort out, right? Because who's the guy on the team? Who do you give the ball to make a play when you need a bucket? And that could happen throughout different parts of the game. That could happen to, end a run by the other team. That could happen when you're trying to bury the other team and just, squash their hopes of having a chance in the game. Or most importantly, happens in winning time. And in winning time, they give the ball to Pascal Siakam, clear out, gets in the lane, gets to a spot in the lane, hits a little short jumper. And you heard him say it after the game. I practice that shot every single day. I love stories like that. I just think that's amazing because we think that it's so crazy. We think that, there's some like crazy explanation behind it. And he's like, no, I practice that shot every single day. And it always reminds me, I talk about this all the time, the LeBron after they beat the Celtics, I think it was, the young Jason Tatum Celtics team, and LeBron sitting there gassed, and everyone's looking up thinking, how did LeBron drag this Cavs team to the finals yet again? How did he do it? Playing all those minutes, blah, blah, blah. And he simply said, I trust the work that I put in. I work very, very hard. And so when you work really hard, you trust the work that you put in and you're able to live with the results. It's poetry, isn't it? I don't know. I just love that stuff. I love hearing Pascal tell you that he's a fighter. He's always going to work. All that stuff is about narrative, right? We got to remember the whole narrative of what's going on right now with Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam wants to re-sign with the Toronto Raptors. Pascal Siakam wants a max contract from the Toronto Raptors. He hasn't been able to sign that contract yet. There were rumors that they were trying to trade him in the offseason, and his agent had to squash that with Atlanta, letting them know he wouldn't re-sign with them. And now he's here in the last year of his deal, and all the talk is about, oh, is Scotty Barnes the face of the team? Oh, he has a slow couple games. Oh, Siakam's struggling. He can't figure out the new offense. All this talk and narrative is going around. And my guy, like a couple weeks ago, I forget what game it was before, but it was on the off day. And Siakam was talking about how we're like 5 games in. You have a new coach, you have a new offense, there's new players. Obviously, Fred's not there, Schroeder's in, your new point guard. Let's give it some time. And the other part of that was, with the time comes his realization of how he can efficiently get buckets. And we talked about this when he was struggling, and I'm doing air quotes, struggling, about the Pascal Siakam that we remember from the championship run beside Kawhi. Now, Kawhi's not here, obviously, so that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the easy buckets. Not everything has to come from dribble, head down, like iso ball. But look how many more points we're seeing Siakam get easier because he's running the floor. He's getting out on the fast break. He's out in transition. He's getting on the offensive glass. All of those things make for easier points. And he's doing that. And especially in a night like tonight, where nobody on the Raptors could get it going, Pascal Siakam comes back and steals this game from the Washington Wizards. Because the other part in this, you're missing OG, you're missing Gary Trent Jr., and let's be honest, Dennis Schroeder, 4 points. He shot 1 of 12 in this game. That's not good, right? So Schroeder struggles. You're missing OG. You're missing Gary Trent. You need other guys to step up, and you need your stars to take on a bigger role. Check and check, right? Pascal Siakam, that's a monster line. 39, 11, 7, and 3 steals. 39 points on a nice 15 of 24 too. That's efficient. 0 of 4 from 3, but notice 0 of 4, and it's not like he got to 5, 6, 7 3-point attempts. That's the stuff I'm talking about. When I think, you look at Pascal Siakam and you wonder like what's really going on, how he's figuring out his spaces in the offense. And let's be honest, what ends up happening sometimes with these guys is if you haven't shot the ball in a while and it's pass, you get that ball and you've already made the decision, next time I get the ball, I'm shooting. instead of staying in the flow of the game, letting the game come to you, maybe getting out on the break, getting some easier points. And that's what we've seen from Pascal when he's been successful this season. Getting easier buckets, not relying on just shooting the threes. And you got to give the rest of the Raptors credit too. Scotty Barnes was 0 for 2 from 3, but we've been talking about this the last few games. He struggled from 3 and he kept shooting and missing. This game, he didn't do that. He kept attacking. He kept getting into the paint. And the Raptors as a whole, we've seen it, the trend. This far this season, when they get the ball low, they get the ball in the paint, they are successful. 76 points in the paint tonight for the Raptors. That's a season high. So between that, you're getting buckets, you're going downhill, you're getting easy shots. Then you switch that up and you decide that you're going to play defense and held. I mentioned they shot over 60%. The Wizards did in the first half. Second half, they shot 40%. And they only had one field goal from the 7:45 mark of the fourth quarter on. The Raptors closed this game on a 22-1 run. That's embarrassing. Like the Wizards, that play where Kyle Kuzma, the ball goes out of bounds. They say it's Raptors ball. Kyle Kuzma starts running towards his bench, which is at the other end of the floor, to tell his coach that they should review it, while the referee hands the Raptors the ball to inbound the ball. And now the Raptors are playing 5-on-4 because Kuzma's still trying to convince his coach to challenge it. And the Raptors are able to like cut the lead to 2. It's like, oh yeah, that's why you're the Washington Wizards. You do stuff like that. What a game. What a game. I mean, the Raptors are 5-5 this season. They've had very interesting wins. They've had very interesting losses, but they've been entertaining for the most part. They've played some wild games. Again, this is their second 20-plus point comeback of the season, as they did it versus Wemby and the Spurs last Sunday. Then add in that wild, crazy game they had in Chicago, which they lost in OT. Like, that's a bad loss, but I'm saying that's an entertaining game, right? Add in their win against the Bucks, which surprised everybody, where they just ran Giannis and Dame out of the gym. Then add in, being able to take down Luka and Kyrie in Dallas, handing them their first home loss of the season. Like, for a 5-5 team, the Raptors have played very interesting and exciting games this season. Now, would you rather not be down 23 points to the 2-win Washington Wizards? Of course. But, as you heard Alvin talk about it, and listen, Alvin played, so I gotta listen to the man. Alvin said the first game back from a long road trip's always tough. For some reason, the first half, teams struggled. Why is that? I don't know, but it's just a thing. We saw it tonight. Raptors were able to turn that around and turn that into a victory. What a game. And got to give credit to Darko as well in this game, because I thought he made really good adjustments down the stretch with his lineup. While in the second half, I thought he rocked with the Scotty Barnes-led bench unit a little too long. Like, that unit struggled, and that's when the Wizards really extended their lead. Got to give him credit in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, for letting Boucher cook, for bringing in Malachi Flynn for Precious so that he could have another, guard out there to play defense, but also to push the ball and push the pace and push the tempo. Also fresher legs. Got to give him credit for that. Those are like great adjustments. Remember, Malachi Flynn doesn't play. Like last year, the last few years under Nick Nurse, Malachi Flynn was DNP CDs all over the place. And now you're seeing him get a consistent almost 20 minutes a night. And he's being serviceable. I mean, the bar of a backup point guard is just maintain the lead, right? Get the second unit into the offense, hit the wide open shot. And Flynn's doing that. He had solid minutes in this game. 6 points for him, 2 of 5 from the floor. Great defense. He was a plus 12. Chris Boucher, as mentioned, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, plus 14. Grady Dick added 8 points off the bench, 3 of 4 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3. Precious, Probably Precious's best game this season. 10 points for Precious, 5 of 8 from the floor, 4 rebounds. He was active. Great production from your bench. And Yak, I'm actually gonna, call myself out here because I don't give enough credit to Jakob Poeltl, who I think plays a solid game night in, night out for the Raptors, and is kind of the unsung guy because there's games where it ends up that he doesn't come back in late in the fourth. He might not close the game, but I feel like he's always a presence. He's a solid big guy. He's great hands. He finishes well around the rim. He plays solid defense. 13. He moves the ball well. 5 assists. I mean, a weird game for the Raptors. Obviously, a tale of 2 games for the Raptors, but you got to take that win. And the reason why this win is so important, again, because next up is Giannis on Wednesday, who I'm going to assume is not going to be happy coming back into Toronto after they got blown out in Toronto the last time. And he had to face questions about why he was shut down by OG. So I'm guessing Giannis and Dame might come in with a little different attitude on Wednesday. And then follow that up on Friday, the start of the Raptors in-season tournament sked. And on Friday, the Raptors got Jason Tatum and the Celtics, whom they just got blown out by on Saturday. So a tough week ahead. That's why this win was so important. So credit where credit is due to the Raptors for the comeback, to Darko for the adjustments, and to Pascal Siakam for putting the team on his back. 39 points, 22 points in the third quarter, leading the comeback. Incredible. Huge shouts to all the people watching the pod, wherever you happen to be. Just a reminder, the pod is live. The full feed you can find on YouTube, Canada Hoops Daily YouTube page, or on Twitter at Can Hoops Daily. That's where you can find this podcast live. If you're watching it somewhere else, I see there's some people on my Instagram feed. Shouts to you guys. Just want to say what's up. I just have that feed up so that people that follow me know that the podcast is back and know where they can watch the podcast normally, because it's not always going to be on my Instagram feed. It's not normally going to be on my YouTube feed. It's going to be on Canada Hoops Daily YouTube page. So just making sure people know that's where you go. That's where you can leave your comments and questions. And of course, don't forget to catch the pod whenever you miss the live show, because the pod will always be available on Apple and on Spotify and the aforementioned Canada Hoops Daily YouTube page. If you're watching this anywhere else, just know it won't be there for long. But thank you for tuning in, and tell your friends we back. There might be some other things down the way. Will people be interested in like a live watch party, live podcast, watch party? We get together, we all watch the Raptors game, and then I'll do the show live after. Go to a bar or something, do that. Will people be interested in that? Maybe I'll look into that. Anyways, let's get to some comments, because this was a big game. This was a massive, massive game. I know the fan base is fired up. People are fired up. Big win, big win. So got to give people credit for that. Shouts to my guy, Brendan Dunlop. Huge night from Siakam. Huge night for the Raptors. Huge show from Sheldon Alexander. Whoa. Shouts to my guy, Dunlop. Appreciate y'all. Tammy is up on YouTube and says, I'll take the win, but let's be 100. That's not a win to be proud of. Tammy, I understand where you're coming from. I get it. I totally get it. But I feel like I got to give the Raps some credit, because they could have, let me rephrase that. I always try to take the positives, right? And obviously they won. But I'm saying, more importantly, even if they came back and let's say they just lost, one of the things that I would be talking about is Pascal Siakam's performance, because he really impressed me in this game, where instead of just looking around and being like, oh no, we don't have it tonight, like we're struggling, and he had some terrible turnovers at certain points too. He decided, no, I'm not going to let us lose this game. And I think that when you're talking about star players, that is a trait that star players have, where they put the team on their back and they win games that you probably should lose. And if people are going to be hard on Pascal Siakam when he has, slow start to the season, You got to give the man his flowers when he's putting up 22-point third quarters and leading 23-point comebacks and dropping damn near 40 pieces. Always got to take the positives. And I mean, that's what your leader does. I'm going to be honest. When you're looking around and you're trying to figure out who's the leader on this team, I think we're getting our answers. I know Scotty Barnes has been playing well. I understand Scotty Barnes has a really good start to the season. But let's look beyond the stats and look at the moments of when people are doing things. And hey, Scotty was a huge part of the comeback against the Spurs. Pascal, huge part of the comeback tonight. It's okay to have two good players, right? Jeremy says, no doubt, LOL. I thought that said never in doubt at first, but I think he was talking about a win to be proud of. Listen, if you're the Raps, you take any win that you can take. The win total was 37.5. So you're just trying to get to 500. 500 is a successful season. And through 10 games, you're 5-5. So you take that. Aisha says, after that unwatchable first half, I was ready to discuss tanking. Well played. I didn't get there yet, but I will say I do remember last season, very early on, when I started going to YouTube to search Scoot Henderson G League highlights and Victor Wembanyama French League highlights. I do remember that was very early in the season last year. It's like, who are these Thompson twins? Got to get up on that. What else we got here? Oh, Pascal, very, quote, selfish tonight. Yes, we needed the selfish Pascal tonight for sure. And we got that in that third quarter. And it was much needed. B. Williams, Brandon, yo, what up, Brandon? What up, B? He says, great comeback win. Huge the Raps showed me something in this game. Wizards or not, you still got to come back and get the points and score the buckets. You still got to do it. What do we got here? The Sly Crow, all NBA Siakam. Big time performance for sure. We need to see him like this against the good teams now. Well, we'll get to find that out very quickly as the Raptors take on a very good team on Wednesday, the Milwaukee Bucks. So lots going on in Raptors land, lots of talk. Hopefully, there's probably more questions here. Let me do a quick search here, see what's going on in the post game, because maybe we can get more about what happened to OG or what's going on with OG and Anunoby. Because, I mean, I'd be very interested to know what's going on with OG as, that's a weird one. And you might need OG to guard someone like Giannis, right? That might be something you're interested in. Having OG and Anunoby to guard Giannis could be very, very big. So more info on OG. I want to hear what Pascal's saying. I want to hear about Darko's adjustments. I just think that was such an exceptional game by the Toronto Raptors that the vibes are high. Normally we try to shut down the pod at this point, but I want to see what the post game's saying. What do we got here? Darko's message to his team at halftime. This from, shouts to my guy, Josh Lewenberg, by the way. If you don't follow him, JLew1050 on Twitter. Shouts to Josh Lewenberg, by the way. OG score alum. I think he was an intern at those days. Tim and Sid intern back in those days. Shouts to Josh Lewenberg. Doing work. Been doing work with the Raps now for a while. He says, Darko's message to his team at halftime, quote, I don't expect you to go out there and win the game, but I expect you to go out and play with joy and compete at a much higher level. Quote, we ended up winning the game, but to be honest with you, I prefer not to dig a hole of 19 points at halftime. Thanks, Darko. More Darko. It says a lot about the character, but we had to talk about the character in the first half too. Yo. Darko gives some funny quotes. I'm not even going to be mad at that. But I just think Darko's positivity and, this goes into like coaching styles for sure. And I think with the type of team the Raptors have in terms of a very young team and where teaching is way more important. Trying to keep the vibes, maintain the vibes, and their energy is more important. I think Darko was such a good pick just because he's so much more focused in on the vibes and like dealing with the people. What happened with the Raptors last year, between Nick Nurse and Fred VanVleet, their main goal was still focused on like winning every single game, getting to the playoffs, winning a championship. Like that was their mentality, as if the Raptors were still in the mode of go mode. We're trying to win the championship. And that's just not the reality of where the roster was. Whether right or wrong, I think that was a miss. Whereas here, it's like with Darko, it matches more with where the franchise and the team currently is, if that makes sense. Because where the team currently is, it's about learning, it's about developing, it's about growing, it's about maturing, it's about all these other things that not necessarily are defined by wins and losses. Right? Like think about that quote where he's talking about at halftime, right? I don't expect you to go out and win the game, but I expect you to play with joy and compete at a much higher level. Some other coaches might have come out and just yelled and told them how unacceptable it is to be down to the Wizards, which it is. But you understand what I'm saying? It's just the way that you go about it. I think that's been an interesting thing to watch this year and an interesting trend to follow. Because, again, through 10 games, the Raptors are 500 at 5-5. And from the start of the year, I said that's what I thought the Raptors, that's what the goal is. And when you look at it that way, you think about it, I think as a 500 team, you're going to have ups and downs, right? That like as a 500 team, this game is a microcosm of that. The start of the game versus what you saw at the end of the game, right? Very interesting stuff. Great win for the Toronto Raptors, 111 to 107. Raptors win, Raptors win, Raptors win. A massive, massive comeback as the Raptors improve to 5-5 on the season. Back to 500, kids. What a time indeed. Raptors come back from a 71 to 48 deficit. Again, the Raptors are down 4-7. I can't speak. What is going on? That's too funny. The Raptors were down 71 to 48 in this game, and they come all the way back to win it. 111 to 107, led by Pascal Siakam, who had a massive, massive, massive third quarter, scoring 22 points of his game-high 39 in that third quarter, 8 of 11 he shot in that third quarter, erasing a 23-point deficit, the fourth biggest comeback in Raptors franchise history. Your Toronto Raptors closed the game on a 22-1 run to win this game. What a wild game. How do you not score a field goal for 7 minutes and 25 seconds if you're the Washington Wizards? What a performance by the Toronto Raptors. They turn on the defense. They end up winning this game. And what a run it was by the Raptors. They win, improving to 5-5. Big time game I mentioned from Siakam. Big time game from Scotty Barnes as he made sure the stats add up and look proper. 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals. Your man's Kyle Kuzma did start off well. He started off well, right? Finished with 34 points. Solid game for him, but it wasn't enough as, again, Pascal Siakam shows that he is still that guy around these parts. Hopefully, maybe you get Gary Trent Jr. back. Maybe you get OG back for Wednesday as Giannis is in town. Has a big week ahead for the Toronto Raptors. And don't forget, the in-season tournament starts on Friday against the Boston Celtics. Maybe the Raptors have revenge on their minds. Either way, the Raptors start the week on a high. They bring back the vibes. The vibes are good for the Toronto Raptors with the 111-107 win over the Washington Wizards. Massive comeback for the Raps. Big time game for Pascal Siakam. Big time game for us here on the pod as well. As I thank you for tuning in to this, Canada Hoops Daily presents the Wrap It Up podcast. Huge shouts to the people. Really appreciate y'all liking and subscribing wherever you get this podcast. Remember, you can always find us live after each and every Toronto Raptors game on Twitter at Can Hoops Daily or on YouTube, Canada Hoops Daily page. Follow us on Instagram as well. Lots of content there. Lots of stuff on the way coming from the Canada Hoops Daily brand. So stay tuned for sure, because we got a lot coming. And I got to say, this was a fun game. This is one of those nights. That's why I'm so happy. And I got to salute Canada Hoops Daily for getting me to bring back the brand that is the Wrap It Up podcast. Because you guys, this is why I do this. The fans, the community, being able to talk to Raptors fans after each and every game and maintain the vibes. Keep the vibes high. So much fun. Really appreciate it. And as I always say, as I'm about to lose my voice too, I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this. This is the Canada Hoops Daily presents Wrap It Up podcast. As always, unpolished and unapologetic. Until next time, see ya.